Name is Alina Birsan. If you really want to get your to have a mouthful, you can try for the whole name, but I can stick to Alina. It's easier. Yeah, I come from marketing, and my background has led me to a turning point, let's call it, in the career when I started actually a coaching or added the coaching layer to all my experience. And currently, as I said, I am the founder of Coach for Marketing, which is a great mix, I think, for the entrepreneurs I work with because it harnesses the best of both fields and it empowers them to really see what is for them, what is the opportunity for them within their personal assets and in the organizations they're leading. And I'm really happy to be here. I'm excited to be part of such an amazing team of talented people. And I really like the subject our track is presenting because my marketing side sees the opportunity within the influencer and how this is often associated with a lot of social media presence, with selfies and so on. And the coaching side of it, which actually talks about the impact and the capacity to influence and the power, as Jessica very well put it, to make a difference within our organizations or within our personal lives. So I am the mix. And I am, as I said, I'm really happy to be here and to join this great event. So I'm excited to also meet you all on 30th of November and 1st of December, and also to find out how you have celebrated with us the National Day. Okay, this is all for me, Thomas.
Great. So, as I said earlier, my name is Thomas Edwards, and despite my Welsh-sounding name, I'm actually a French citizen. I'm calling you today from France. I did most of my career in the US, and I kind of fell in the translation industry by accident. I was a student at UC Berkeley in California, and I needed to pay my rent. So I said, I speak French, I speak English. Let me try to be a translator. It was not easy, but I trained and I became a technical translator working on the client side, doing French, English, English, French translations, ATA, AA certified linguist. And then I ended up going on the services side. I became a project manager. So I was a project manager for many years, managing projects for Microsoft, Octel Communications, Avaya, and healthcare, legal, you name it, I've probably done it. And then as a natural evolution in a way for a project manager who has kind of personal skills, I guess, is I became an account manager. So my company entrusted me with quotas, with budgets, and I worked with companies like Microsoft as an account manager. Later, I moved into sales and then operations management, and I did most of my career in the language industry at small startups, but also big names like Lionbridge, SDL, etc. You can look at my profile on LinkedIn, and please feel free to connect with me, by the way. It'd be a pleasure. And yeah, so anyway, so I'm a partner with Jessica, Influence Sales, where I'm a account manager trainer. And I'm also the founder of a consultancy called Silver Flamingo Global, where I provide business coaching to C-suite or business owners or boards of directors. That's it about me.
All right, thanks. Awesome. Perfect description of track one, practically the center stage of the entire conference, because everything is thought to be like round. We're going to start with PM like an influencer. We're going to have this in the plenary room. Then we're going to have lunch and divide the plenary room in two different groups, where we're going to have track 2 and track 3, which is going to be better, faster, stronger, and big bad AI. And here, yeah, we try to have a playful kind of approach to a very serious job, because PMing is a very serious job. And before, thank you, Charlotte, for joining us. It's our second committee member. She's from Alpha CRC. She's the Global Operations Director. I would like to, before handing in the microphone to Charlotte about her track, I would like to give you an overview about our general expertise in the language industry and outside of it, of course, because we also have here Alina Birsan, and she's Romanian, by the way. We share a very similar name, which was very funny. I'd never thought about that until we started to talk between each other and we realized that we were confusing. It was confusing for everybody. But our expertise is gathered in such a complementary way that I was looking through all the LinkedIn profiles earlier. I knew everything attracted me towards you and you to each other, and why we had this team spirit between us is because each of you has a lot of extensive experience in their jobs. Like minimum years of experience is like 8. Each of you had like at least 8 years in the same company. Some of us 15, some of us 16, some of us this was something that really struck me, because this is when you become an expert, when you have more than 5 years in your field of business, and you are more than experts. So we're very happy to listen to you. And this being said, without further ado, please, Charlotte, be welcome to give us a couple of details about yourself and then about the track, and then invite one of your speakers to deliver more about the track.
Great. Thank you, Alina. That's great. So as Alina said, I'm a Global Operations Director at Alpha CRC. We're a kind of medium-sized localization service provider. I'm based in the UK. We have about 450 employees around the world, about 65 of whom are project managers. So I have some responsibility in my current job for kind of looking at the performance and the efficiency of the PMs, but I did start my career in the industry as a project manager, and at heart, I feel very much that I am a project manager. I know how tough it is to be a PM, what the pressure and the expectations are, but also what a great job it is, because you're really the ones in all organizations who actually get things done and make it happen. So we have a great track, which is called Better, Faster, Stronger. And that's really to try and enable project managers to cope with those pressures in an ever-changing environment and develop their personal skills, but also embrace technology. So that will deliver very good benefits for all your organizations, but also for project managers yourselves, to really make sure that you're delivering for your future career in terms of upskilling, embracing technology, but also making a big focus on the human aspects of project management and how all those things dovetail together to make you better, faster, and stronger as a project manager. So Mariella and Federica are working on this track with me, so over to them to give you some more details.
Thank you, Charlotte. Well said, well explained. I'm also really excited to be here to be a speaker at this Elia event. Yes, and I think, yes, I will introduce me first. I think I'm head of language services at Eurocom Translations, based in Vienna. So we are Austria's largest LSP at the time being. We are, I think we've got 45 employees, and I think at 23 was the last I counted today, are project managers of them. And I also started 13 years ago as a project manager. And so I've got a couple of years of expertise also in that particular profession before I moved on, and I'm now leading the language services department at Eurocom. So in our session, Better, Faster, Stronger, we will deal with the challenges, as Charlotte already put it, that come with this ever-growing or with the ever-growing expectations the LSPs set on their project managers. The market evolving so fast and changes happening so constantly that it is necessary to review and reevaluate processes in an LSP regularly. And this often means, or also often comes with the fact that the project manager is expected to improve performance and efficiency throughout his or her work in order to get better, faster, stronger for the organization to stay competitive on the market. And this can create a lot of challenges, a lot of pressure in the everyday work. And this is exactly the question or the issue we want to solve, we want to answer in our session, which is basically how can you as a project manager live up to these expectations, what is in it for you, and how you can profit also from the changes happening in the industry, instead of fearing for the worst because of those changes. So we will also do an interactive session. We will hear your biggest challenges. We will incorporate them in the track. We will also provide practical tools for questions we think are the most pressing ones currently on the market. And those questions involve issues like how you can find out weak spots in your everyday work, how you can evaluate inefficient processes and convince everyone in your organization that it is the best for all to change them, how you can best embrace and introduce new technologies and don't feel threatened by it. But also we will cope with questions like how teams perform at their best, also with the background of those fast changing environment we all live in, or especially with the different generations working together with different priorities. So also the personal and the team well-being will not be forgotten. So always with the background or with this life cycle of if the team works best, also the company also performs best. So we will give hands-on advice and step-by-step instructions in the presentation, so that at the end of the session you've got a belt full of tools basically at your disposal, ready to practice in the following workshop, which follows the presentation, and also to apply once you're back in your organization back home.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mariela. I'm very happy that you joined us. Please also introduce Federica.
Yes, so hi. I think I can introduce myself. It's fine. Hi, I'm Federica Fancy to everybody. I also work as Mariela at Oricom Translation Services, and I'm one of the 3 team leaders that we have in teams based in Vienna. And yes, I started my career as technical translator and then changed it very quickly into project management. And after that, I thought, okay, this is my career. This is what I like to do. And yes, so the years passed away and we are here. So I'm very honored to be here today at the webinar, and also happy to see you in Bucharest at the end of November, beginning of December. And what I'm going to do today is to present present a little bit what we're going to do during the workshop. As Mariela said, in the presentation, we're going to see all the theoretical aspects of what we do and what are the challenges that we have as project manager. And in the second part, we're going to have like a more interactive part and more practical part. So we are going to split up into groups and work on at least 3 different scenarios, take it from our everyday life as project managers. And during the session, you will be able to brainstorm with other colleagues, with your peers that work as project manager in other agencies. It would be maybe bigger or smaller. And then you have also the chance to see how the approach is to these different challenges that they have to face. And so at the end, we will even compare together all the results to find a solution to this challenge, to these present challenges. And we have a open discussion about these topics. And the aim for us of this workshop is to give you the tools and also some inspiration, I would say, on how you can improve your role as project manager. getting better, faster, and stronger. And yes, without forgetting your, as Charlotte said at the beginning, your well-being and your social team well-being, because as you all say, we are put on so much pressure sometimes. So you will get the takeaways from this session that you will be able to bring back home and to your team, to your company, to your management, and you will be able to implement them and integrate them into your process. We hope in an efficient way. That's it.
Thank you very much both for giving us an overview about the subject, about track 2, faster, better, stronger. I just put in the chat that if there are questions or any kind of suggestions for the speakers today with us, and they're going to bring them on stage in Bucharest, please don't hesitate to address them. May them be in the webinar chat or in the Q&A session, wherever, because that's why we are here. We are here to show you what we're going to speak about and to pick up your suggestions if you have any like special desires. So you're privileged to be online, as this webinar is also recorded and can be consulted afterwards. And before going to that part of the webinar, of listening to your questions and your suggestions, I would love to introduce the third track, which I think is one of the most, well, up-to-date, updated, and it's on a continuous change, from Istvan Leniel. I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Istvan, about big bad AI coming for us. And I believe that he's not coming for us, it's just here to help us release some pressure, release some time, and put the human factor in play.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alina, and also thank you very much for inviting me to speak at this event and to host a workshop. I think you invited me because I like change, and right now we are living a time when change is the only reality. Just to give a little bit of background about myself, is that I'm an economist by training, and after that, I was making a living as a translator for a couple of my younger years. I started my first company, which related to automated workflow management in a translation company in 2001. It actually died a very quick death. And then my second company was what is known today as MemoQ. I've been instrumental in it from the very beginning, and I was also like even CEO for a couple of years. Which I left in 2016, and then I started a new one, Be Lazy, which is my current company, which is about trying to allow automated project management for the boring stuff. I am originally Hungarian, but I live in Spain, and I have the pleasure to introduce to you Martin Ariano, who is somebody who has way more hands-on experience in project management than I do. Martin, the floor is yours. And let me know also, like, have you used any AI in your personal practice?
Sure. Thank you, Istvan. Thank you all for having me. Also, this is very exciting. First off, I would like to say that I have attended other PM-focused events in the past. I've enjoyed them very much, and I think everyone should all PMs should attend this event because it's very it provides a lot of insights. It's an excellent opportunity to also network and get a lot of useful information for your everyday work. Now, a few words about me as a way of as an introduction. I started out as a translator. I trained professionally as a legal English into Spanish translator years ago. And after a few years working both as an in-house and a freelance translator, I transitioned into a project management role. I was offered this position by, at that time it was a client of mine, and this is Chesco Linguistic Services. So I've been working for them as a project manager. Right now I'm a senior project manager, and I've been working for them for 10 years now. It's been a journey. So Chesco Linguistic Services is a Denver-based translation and interpreting service, translation company. And we're coming up to our 20th anniversary next year. So that's exciting. So to answer Istvan's question, I have been very interested in AI and particularly ChatGPT and how we can use it as a project managers and within the context of a translation company. In the past few months, I have used it, both on a personal and a professional level, I should say. But, the professional or, business applications that I have found for it is that I have used it to run MT comparisons. I have used it as an MT engine, right? We've partnered with another technology company. And so we have a plugin that we can connect. So we can connect ChatGPT with our CAT tool. And that has allowed us to compare, how the MT works, and what the results are for ChatGPT and also, other MT engines such as DeepL or Modern MT. Interesting results. Then I have personally used it to tweak narratives, massage the text for RFP responses. We know that those have to be very well written. And so in my personal experience, I have found that using ChatGPT is great because even if the text you can come up is great, artificial intelligence will take it one step further, will take it to the next level. And, and I would say that 95% of the times, I like what I see. I like the output I get. Even if I initially like what I wrote originally, the changes that ChatGPT suggests are usually very good. So in that same line, I've also used it to improve the style for high-level emails, to some clients. We have tested it also as a terminology extraction tool, but this is like in the works. And this is like one of the applications I'm most interested in because, as we all know, terminology extraction and terminology management is very time consuming. We seldom have the time or, someone fully dedicated to that task. But at the same time, it's an essential step of the process. And ideally, we should be able to provide translators with a package, with a terminology, with a list of terms, right, at the inception of a project. But again, we rarely have the time to do this. So I'm hopeful that technologies such as ChatGPT will help us streamline this process in the future, in the very near future. And I have also used it, in my capacity as translator, because, sometimes I also translate for, translation queries, because the way you interact with ChatGPT or other large language models is different from the way you would interact with a search engine such as Google. So the type of information you get when you're inputting a query is different. And so the information you get is also very different. It's faster also. It's kind of like encyclopedic in nature sometimes. And then we've also, at Chesco, we have been using artificial intelligence for marketing purposes and for creating blogs. So we sometimes create blogs, and with the aid of artificial intelligence, and then we curate the content. But again, it saves a lot of time. So you don't have to translate, you don't have to create something, a blog from scratch. And again, if you input it, the right type of information, you will get a very nicely written piece of content. So these are some of the applications at Chesco we've been trying out in the past couple of months, and personally myself as a project manager. So over to you, Istvan.
Thank you very much, Martin, for giving this very practical rundown on AI. I would take a little step away and just talk about a bit the fact that when artificial intelligence, or rather large language models, were first made available to everybody this year, it created a lot of uncertainty. Are we all losing our jobs? Or are we just going to become like much better? Are we changing our jobs? The problem with AI, which is also a problem for the technology people, is that it's very, very anthropomorphic. It's like a colleague. You tell the same thing twice, and it's not going to do the same thing twice the same way. And in 2019, though, 4 years before today, a Forbes magazine article was called "Software is Eating the World and AI is Eating Software." So the whole transformation of not only our industry, but the world is taking place. Large language models, as we see it, are the most generic technology that I have ever seen in my life. It can be applied to railroad construction as much as translation project management. But the question is that in our very niche industry, where we are working with lots of specialized technologies, very picky and meticulous colleagues, how are we going to find its place? Are we going to all be using a very well-known technology like ChatGPT? I mean, there are others commercially available, such as Bard from Google or Claude. Or are we going to go with the open source, which is actually improving at an even faster pace? How are we going to ride the wave? I think that is a very interesting question that we will have to discuss here. But in the workshop part, I think we need to acknowledge the fact that we are not only talking about language models, because there is one thing about language models, is that you put in language and it brings you language, more or less. There are conversions possible into some numbers, some metrics, but the point is that you are not working with files, you are working with text. You are not working with workflows, you are working with static information. So what we need to see is, after understanding the general theory of where we are with AI, everywhere, in the audiovisual translation, in the generation of content, in the translation industry, in the review, in the QA process, we will then have to see how this is relating to the legacy technology of translation memories, of reproducibility in our industry. We will have to see how this is helping people who need to have like up-to-date reporting, up-to-date dashboards, being responsible for the last little bit of projects to be delivered on time. How can these people, yourselves, the attendees, work with such technologies? What is missing in the toolset of our industry? And all in all, we will have to address like a big thing, which is the scalability of what we are doing. Because if we are not working with specialized software, but we are moving towards a much more generic approach of things, then the most important thing here is to be able to generalize what we are doing. How is this affecting your client and vendor relationships? How is this affecting your approach to technology? How are you able to provide personalized service on the premise of generic models? We will dissect, discuss, and scrutinize some of the business practices to understand, to bring clarity. We will not only talk about AI, we will get into the nitty-gritty of things that people talk about, but they don't talk about as modular as AI requires it. So for example, I'm talking here about updates to a project. We all talk about updates, but whether that happens before the quoting, after the quoting, whether somebody is already working on it, whether the update is a deadline update or whether it is an update to the scope of the project, these are all different scenarios. Quoting, if there is DTP, if there is no DTP, very different scenarios. So what we will try to do is cut down into small pieces the whole story of the production of LSP work, and then understand where AI can come handy, And we also need to focus on how to turn this new advancement into career paths. Because one thing is definitely sure, the role of the PM is as much changing as the role of the translator and the role of the reviewer. And there will be people who will find it easier to ride the wave, and there will be people that will have a harder time.
Awesome, Istvan. Thank you very much. I think your words were just captivating in the closing of our presentation. I'm sorry that Laszlo wasn't able to join us today. He will be the keynote speaker to close all our presentations. And I'd love to know if you have questions, all attendees, if you have suggestions. Thank you, Indra, for the suggestion to use the opening with some ice-breaking questions, so that newcomers, because in the end, focus on project management most of the times have newcomers in Elia conferences. But we also have some 20-30% of people who are recurrent attendees of Focus PM. So we'll be very happy to share everything that we know to the best of our knowledge from all the corners of the world, because Jessica's coming from the US with her vast experience. Charlotte is coming from the UK. Thomas is coming from France. Melissa is also coming from the US and puts a foot in Spain recently, no? Is that so? And we have also, well, who else? Charlotte from the UK and Istvan from Hungary, exported to Spain, isn't so? So we are just a mixture of people from everywhere in the world, gathering all sorts of experiences, trying to put them in a nutshell to deliver you, to the best of our knowledge, everything that can be helpful in your jobs, so that you can upgrade your game for your company, for your own growth, on the other hand, because it's more than just one-way street. It's, I think, more than the two-way street. Everybody has to win if we become a better version of ourselves in everything that we do. And throughout us all, you have various roles, from project manager to company owner to partners to everything. So we're trying to think it through all the lenses that we could have came up with. So happy to answer your questions. For the moment, I don't see any question.
Then I have a question to the audience.
Oh, yes, please.
So, like, I'm very curious on how much would you like to get your hands dirty with AI? So, shall we actually prepare some exercises where you need to use a computer, or would you rather like to discuss things?
Let's see. I don't see in the chat.
In the chat, any idea is very welcome.
It's very useful. Indra is asking about the social events. And she also says that the practical tasks are more useful. I'm for that as well. So I will definitely bring my laptop, but it's closer for me as I'm based here. So let's see what the attendees are thinking about, and I'll also see how we can do it logistically for those who cannot travel with their laptops. Maybe they don't want to. Okay. Maybe a survey to all people who are registered. Yes, Indra is the motivator. Thank you, Indra, for backing me up here. We're gonna have we're preparing a wine tasting tour around Bucharest and some other surprise social events. We're gonna put them on the website as soon as we have them all established and signed, because that's the first thing we had to do in Elia, to sign things off, because otherwise we cannot just rely on our external partners. But since we don't have questions, what can we do then?
Alina.
Yes.
Alina, so regarding the social events, you're mentioning these things. Now, people might want to know, is it going to take place during the dates, the 28th, 29th, or the 29th, 30th, and the 1st, or should they come in early and leave late? This is maybe something people would want to know for planning flights.
Well, we're going to have social events during the 3 days of the conference. We're going to have the social dinner, of course. Then we're going to have some social events, the opening drinks like any other conference. And we're also envisioning a tour of wine tasting after the conference so that people cannot learn and drink in the same time. But before the conference, we have the technology workshops, which we are preparing on Wednesdays. That's why I said it's from the 29th of November, 30th to the 1st of December. And the 1st of December being Romanian National Day, we're going to have a lot of celebration throughout the city and during the weekend, because we Romanians kind of like to party 3 days and 3 nights. So better come early and leave last. That's the best suggestion I can give you since you're taking the trip. Come and discover more from my country. I'm sure you're going to like it. And we have a question here. Yes or no, a reply. Blend Daniel that he prefers the practice. Thank you. We do too. I would love to see Istvan at work with Martin and to show us more practical exercises. And I'm sure all of you're going to be, well, fascinated by their discoveries because they took the time and curiosity to do that. I didn't have the time to do that, and I'm so looking forward to it. But also to all the other tips and tricks for sales and marketing, together with efficiency improvement in our day-to-day jobs. Because yes, PMs are the engines of our industry, and if you stay prepared and keep in line with everything that is changing so fast, you're going to still be the engine of this world, of the entire world, not just the language industry world, because we are, in the end, everywhere. We are covering all industries, wherever. I don't think there is any industry that never used a language service, at least once. I've never found that. So if you find that, I'll make a contest. I'll give a prize to the person who finds me an industry that never had to do anything with any kind of language service. Let's make it a contest. PM should know better than anyone, no? Perfect then. So we kind of said most of the things that we can say. If you have no further questions, oh, Jessica, you want to say something?
No, I don't. It's fine. I just want to know when the wine tasting is, if that's okay.
In the weekend.
Okay, perfect.
We're gonna have everything in a survey to see how we tailor it best, and then we're gonna put it on the website as well. But I guarantee you one thing: Romanian wine is very good, and it's just very close to Bucharest. We have the best wine valley in the country, and we have a lot of wineries there, and a lot of small wineries owners who are very happy to receive us, because I've already spoken to a couple of them, and they're very happy to see, well, guests from all over the world.
Well, I didn't know that. So this is, I can't wait to be educated on that front.
Definitely. I promised you some very interesting, authentic experiences in Romania. So be all welcome to Romania. Join us on the 29th, 30th, and 1st of December, and stay as much as you can because, well, it's December as well, and it's a busy month normally. But if you can join earlier, we have very good internet in my country, so don't worry about that. You can work from anywhere, even from the winery. If you can work with the wine tasting, that's the only problem. But we'll be happy to have you. We'll be happy to accommodate any kind of needs or requests or suggestions you might have. My email is open to everyone. Please drop in whenever you need anything. And all the speakers and all the committees have the LinkedIn profiles on the website. You can write to them directly anytime you need any kind of advice or you have a suggestion or anything. I guarantee you they are very, very nice and collaborative. So please join us, and we'll be very happy to deliver to the best of our knowledge. Thank you all for joining today. And we'll be very happy to continue this conversation live in Bucharest. Thank you.